LA this week.
No longer is there an excuse for people not to come to MOCA. It is free every day. The permanent collection is free. We offer tours. There are free art-making activities for kids.
It's a demonstration of the loyalty to the people of the city that encourages us each day to not give up and to keep pressing forward.
Come see an exhibit at the LA Public Library that gives African American children's book illustrators and authors a voice. I'm Anna Marcos, and that's coming up.
Hey everyone, I'm Umayma Rashid. Here's what's happening in LA this week. Mayor Eric Garcetti was on hand for the annual LAPD End-of-Year Crime Statistics News Conference. The mayor, along with LAPD Commission President Eileen Decker and LAPD Chief Michael Moore, held a press conference to inform residents of improvements in 2019. Take a look.
The numbers speak for themselves. Second year running, we have crime down in every major category here in Los Angeles City.
A year-over-year reduction in crime. 1,600 fewer violent crimes, nearly 7,500 fewer property crimes. It's about putting more officers on the street and giving them more time to work with the communities.
This wouldn't have been achieved without the work and partnership of the residents of Los Angeles. Much of the work of the Los Angeles Police Department and the success of this department really relies heavily on the partnership that we have with members of the community.
This is a department that looks at itself in the mirror and always asks not why, but why not.
It's the values they live for. It's the demonstration of the loyalty to the people of the city that encourages us each day to not give up and to keep pressing forward.
This was a very, very good year. We have zero tolerance for a department that doesn't respect the people of Los Angeles, but vice versa. We have an infinite heart for this city getting to know the men and women of this department.
Keep up to date on all things LAPD by visiting their website, lapdonline.org. The LA Department of Public Works is trying to get you a discount on your flood insurance. We were on hand at a recent community meeting where city engineers and experts discussed their 2020 floodplain management plans and how to help LA residents prepare for this common natural disaster.
If it can rain, it can flood.
Tonight we are having a community meeting to talk a bit about the floodplain management plan for 2020, to hear from experts in the mayor's office as well as at our Bureau of Engineering, as well as some of the consultants that work with us in the city of Los Angeles. In this instance, it is Tetra Tech.
What we're really trying to do is to estimate or come up with an overarching strategy of how we're going to manage what we think is going to happen.
It is really the nuts and bolts of how the government works and how we try to update our systems, how to protect the public, protect businesses.
We also want to engage the public significantly in this process. Once we complete the floodplain management plan, it'll qualify the city and some of its residents for flood insurance discounts, which is a benefit for them. But for us, it's about floodplain management and public safety.
Down in Leimert Park, rainbow banners were flying high. A grateful crowd gathered as the Los Angeles LGBT Center cut the ribbon on a new location, expanding on its goal to teach equality and provide health and counseling service to the LGBT community in South LA.
50 years ago, when the center's founders first began providing services to our community, the world was a very different place. Most LGBT people were deeply in the closet. We also had no political support. Fortunately, as a result of a lot of hard work and persistence, we've come a long way.
As
a Latina myself, a queer woman, I believe it's important that I come here to support my community and knowing that there's representation here in the community.
A lot of folks who might identify as LGBT, specifically with the intersex with folks of color, they don't have the same comfort level to attend just regular health centers. They may not be treated as fairly in other health centers, and so it's important that they have a space to call their own, to have that education and safe space.
We've already started getting people walking in, even through construction. They're coming in very curious about what is this space, what's LGBT. So we've already got an opportunity to engage and educate people that may not know the acronyms that we have under our community, and really educating them about the important services that are going to be provided here, specifically for their young folks.
Another great thing about these centers is that they have education around health. Sexual health, but also just physical health, right? It's more personalized and relevant for young people, whether they're trans, whether they're gay, whether they're queer. Regardless of identity, it helps to focus on what their needs are, not based on a social norm, but based on their lives.
The new LGBT Center South will provide assistance with housing case management, mental health services, HIV testing, and a computer lab. The busy corner of Fenton and Terrabella and Lakeview Terrace had once been a path of weed and rubble. Now, thanks to the persistence of citizens and help from Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez, the school-adjacent corner is finally a safer and smarter route for students.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to a moment that only took 28 years, right, Miss Samita?
Almost 29.
Almost 29. So this particular corner, not even having a place for people to cross over, has been really dangerous. My daughter's been attending this school for the last 6 years, so finally being able to see this happen is exciting.
This was a critical safety issue for kids that are going to and from school. Generations of kids that have gone to Fenton Charter have had to walk in the street because they had no sidewalk to walk on.
I have been talking to council members since 1991, going back to Hernani Bernardi, about this sidewalk situation. Many people have promised that the sidewalk would be done, especially in light of the safety concerns for the children. She is the first to keep the promise. We're never going to forget that. This community is not going to forget that.
I'm proud that we got this accomplished, and I'm proud of the city family for helping to make this a reality.
The Fenton Avenue sidewalk is an improvement project the community has been wanting for more than 20 years. It was the treaty signing heard round the world, or at least across most of Studio City. Campo de Cahuenga commemorated the end of the Mexican-American War with cannon fire and cocktails. And of course, LA This Week was there to catch the festivities.
What we're celebrating here today is the signing of the treaty between the Californios forces and the United States forces, which brought to an end the Mexican-American War in California.
It's a very forgotten time period in our history. It's kind of overlooked, and it was a very big point in our history of California.
To remember our heritage, our history as Californians and as new Americans of the United States.
Why is it important for you to be here today?
To impart history to people that are interested in it, because we're not taught the proper history in school.
I think it's important to keep the history alive. Many people forget what happened here, and it's important for people to learn.
Councilmember Herb Weston helps small businesses find big bucks. Mayor Garcetti speaks up for Latino representation in Hollywood. New laws mean new permits for street vendors, and the Department of Aging aims to showcase the fine art of LA seniors. All this next on City Beat. Are you looking at starting a small business, or maybe you already have one and want some tips on making it successful? Then be sure to check out the Small Business Seminar presented by Councilmember Herb Weston. You can check them out on Tuesday, January 21st and 28th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Councilmember Weston's district office. Visit interconnection-center.com for more info. Latinos are underrepresented in Hollywood, and Mayor Eric Garcetti is looking to change that. LA Collab is a project helping Latinos get a fair shake in Tinseltown by getting workers connected to employers. The project is funded by Mayor's Fund for Los Angeles, the Annenberg Foundation, Warner Media, and Endeavor Content. 2020 is off and running, and along with the new year is a new law for permits to be required for vending on sidewalks and parks in LA. Be sure to have this completed so Angelinos can continue having delicious, authentic food available at convenient locations. For more info, visit streetsla.lacity.org/vending. Senior artists are invited by the City of LA Department of Aging to submit their work for the 2020 art exhibit, where selected works will be showcased in May at Los Angeles Central Public Library. Cash awards will be given to the grand prize winner, and 2 awards of merit will also be issued. For rules and requirements, call 213-482-7252. So you're looking for something the whole family can do together? Something outdoorsy? Something that won't be over in 10 minutes? Something that won't blow through your fun time budget all at once? Might I suggest Travel Town?
Travel Town is a museum that was founded here in Los Angeles in 1952. The railroads donated all of this equipment to the city, and they essentially made what they call a petting zoo of railroad locomotives and passenger cars. The Department of Recreation and Parks embraced that.
Once these trains were real and they moved.
Summer's dad actually came here in the 70s with his dad, so it's kind of like a fun generational thing to do with the kids.
I've been coming here for generations. My grandfather brought me here, so start a generation. Start bringing your kids, start bringing your family.
It's stuff they can touch, feel, interact with.
I have a 2-year-old son, Carter, who loves playing here, loves riding the trains and seeing the trains and being able to climb up inside and get in them.
What sound does the train make? Choo-choo. Choo-choo.
Absolutely free admission to come here. There's very few places you can come in Los Angeles where the parking is free and the visitorship is free. It makes it open to all people in Los Angeles.
The kids can be kids. There's lots of space, and you can always have your eye on your kids, so it feels like a very safe space to have them in.
This is one of the wonderful picnic areas that's available for rent here on Saturdays and Sundays at Travel Town. You can have a birthday party here, you can have an anniversary party here, you can have a retirement party here, and where else can you go and have a beautiful steam locomotive as your background? This engine is called the Mariposa. It was built in 1864, and it is actually the oldest engine we have here at Travel Town. At the time, the Transcontinental Railroad was being built. I tend to look at the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad as like landing on the moon. It was a technological advance that was just so amazing that it happened in the United States, and this engine was part of it. This is our Fred Harvey exhibit, and Fred Harvey was someone who's essentially the forerunner of fast food restaurants. Fred Harvey set up many of his restaurants on the Santa Fe route. There was a very famous movie called The Harvey Girls that sort of highlighted that starred Judy Garland.
Black shirt waist,
cuffs neat and trim. The apron must be spotless from the collar to the hem.
The apron must be spotless and must have the proper swirl. That's the first requirement of a Harvey girl.
And the whole exhibit just sort of features some of the elegance that traveling on the trains had. We have here a beautiful waiting station. Sometimes I just sit here and think about how many people would have sat here waiting for the next train to come in and where they were going to and where they were coming from. Traveltown is located right off the Forest Lawn exit of the 134 freeway, very near to where the 5 and the 134 come together. We're kind of this hidden gem that people don't know about.
All aboard! All aboard! Choo-choo!
All that great work wouldn't be possible without the many volunteers that make Traveltown an LA gem. If you'd like to get involved, visit the Foundation's website at traveltown.org. From antique trains to abstract modernism, Los Angeles continues to make local attractions and high-end art more accessible and affordable for SoCal families. The latest example? Free admission days at the Museum of Contemporary Art. Check out how MOCA does family fun.
We are kicking off free general admission for everybody here in Los Angeles and beyond, and we're having a great festival all day to celebrate with our community. Our board president, Carolyn Clark Powers, made an announcement in late May. She gave a gift of $10 million to make this possible for MOCA to offer free general admission for everybody.
This is huge for the city. We know that access to art is everything. When a young person or a visitor or somebody who's even lived a couple blocks away knows that it is free, we find that admission goes up, that the richness of the experience moves forward, and LA is the art capital of the world right now.
Now that they're making it more accessible for people to come, and the fact that they're not charging is amazing for people that, you know, like, say, like, this is something that's great. You get to learn, you get to be a part of the experience without having to, you know, spend money and stuff. It's going to bring a lot more people in, and I think that's really important.
No longer is there an excuse for people not to come to MOCA. It is free every day. The permanent collection is free. We offer tours. There are free art-making activities for kids, you know, during the month. Check out MOCA.org and see what we have to offer.
I agree, Mayor Garcetti. Access to art is everything. In fact, the Central Library has an art exhibit where you can actually leave your own personal impression. The exhibit is called The Autograph Book, and our own Saida Pagan dropped by to make her mark.
It's an autograph collection like no other at the Los Angeles Central Library. Hundreds of signatures, artwork, and writings from both the famous and everyday people dating back more than a century.
One of my favorites came in from a library patron, and they wrote, "I just want to be a part of it," which sort of sums up the sentiment of some of these people who are leaving their marks in the collection.
Curators say it was all librarian Charles Loomis's idea. In 1906, he sent out this letter with blank stationery. He instructed notable people of the day to simply improve this enclosed page. Educator Booker T. Washington wrote back. Writer and activist Helen Keller also responded, and Langston Hughes sent in a poem. Catherine Lee Bates filled the page with the words to her song, America the Beautiful. But since then, the collection has become much more inclusive. People from all walks of life have sent in their autographs, their writings, and more.
What's really special about the exhibit is the way that it was expanded by the foundation and the city librarian to include modern Angelinos and current people who are doing things.
There is street art on display, graffiti replicated from the streets of Los Angeles, and images telling compelling, thought-provoking stories. This one rare exhibit features thousands of signatures presented to the astronauts after the moon landing. The exhibit also includes a book. It is simply titled The Autograph Book of LA.
I feel like it helps people leave their mark on history. It's a way that a person can individually show their mark on something.
I think it's actually nice, really, because
like I was saying earlier, it's just nice to see like not only the people that have come through the library or like the autographs that have been like put down on paper, but also just like the development of like writing actually.
Only the main highlights of the collection are included in the library exhibit. Hundreds of other pieces are housed in the rare book section of the LA Central Library. I thought it would be fun to add my name to the collection, so here's what I wrote. I'm here at the LA Central Library doing a very fun story about a wonderful autograph collection. Saida Pagan for LA This Week.
And there's another book arts exhibit happening at the Central Library. The Coretta Scott King Awards was established to recognize exceptional work from new African American authors and illustrators. Anna Marcos visited the library to see how these works are now a celebrated visual art exhibit.
African American children's book authors and illustrators haven't always had their voices heard in mainstream literature. But this exhibit celebrates 50 years of putting those voices front and center.
So many times our stories are not told, and so children may grow up and never see themselves in the pages of books. And it's important for them to see themselves reflected in that manner and to be proud of who they are.
The LA Public Library is hosting the exhibit called Voices, celebrating the Coretta Scott King Illustrator Awards. The artwork comes from books that have won the prestigious award. It highlights both books and illustrations by exceptional storytellers of the African American experience. Two determined librarians created the awards back in 1969 after attending an American Library Association conference and getting a sort of a wake-up call.
African American authors were not recognized over the years, and this was in 1969, and that's how the Coretta Scott King Award came about, to recognize outstanding authors and illustrators of children's literature, African Americans.
First one I saw was the illustration of Rosa Parks, which made me think about the struggles and how different things were not that long ago.
The exhibit features more than 100 prize-winning book illustrations. The topics range from slavery to African creation myths to hairstyles.
For instance, Crown is one of the most recent titles, and it shows an African-American young boy after he gets his hair done and how his self-esteem is boosted, and so that's really important for young people to see as well.
There is even a little cubbyhole children's reading area stocked with some of the award-winning books. So what are college students doing reading children's books in a circle? We wanted to know.
The illustrations are beautiful. I want to do children's book illustrations, so I love seeing these, and they're so well done. But yeah, they had this really cool page right here, and it just folds out, and it shows the whole team of the first Colored World Series.
For me personally, growing up being African American, I didn't have any books with kids that looked like me. Even reading this book about a young musician, it was really powerful because I felt like I really had to pave my way to become a musician when I was 10 years old.
The exhibit will be on display at the LA Public Library's downtown branch until February 9th.
Do you remember home economics or shop class when you were in high school? Well, things have really changed since then. Maria Hall Brown gives us a look at an organization doing great work on vocational skills. Maria?
Thanks, Umema. I had an opportunity to sit down with the folks from SkillsUSA, a remarkable organization that have been helping youth find their way for decades. In this ever-changing, complicated world, for a young person, determining what they want to be when they grow up is also partnered with who they want to be and how to get there. But fortunately, there's a wonderful organization to help. I'm delighted to be joined by Clay Mitchell, the State Director of SkillsUSA. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure, Maria.
All right. SkillsUSA obviously has a vast array of things that they offer young people in determining, what course they want to take in their lives. What does SkillsUSA do?
So SkillsUSA is a career technical student organization. So that's a nice education jargon that talks about how do we help students make quality decisions for careers, and what do they need to do to get there so they can be successful in life? People from business and industries that are looking for our products, which are our students, come to an event. The California event is about 3,200 students, and the national event is about 8,000 students. They come in, they have their time slot, and they perform whatever skill or task that they have set up from business and industry with their knowledge and their skill set.
Clay and I are delighted now to be joined by Loretta Caballudao, who is the State Membership and Chapter Coordinator. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so what is it that you say to people or young people or parents or anyone that might be interested now in being part of SkillsUSA?
Whenever I have the opportunity to talk to a student's parent or guardian, I like to celebrate that their student has chosen this as a path. In most cases, you hear college is that direction. And when a student says that I want to be a carpenter or I want to be a chef, I celebrate that.
There's such a huge need. I mean, I think we forget all of the things that we need in order to have, you know, a good life and good lifestyles.
There's such a huge need, especially here in California. There's a big skills gap, and we want to lead the way in bridging that.
Clay and I are delighted now to be joined by an alum of SkillsUSA, and a very talented one at that. Brian Gillespie, hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Just fine.
So you're, as an alum, you went straight out of one of the programs into a full-time gig in broadcasting, which you have been enormously successful in.
I learned about instant replay. I learned about maintenance repair. I learned about the cameras. And then I went on to become one of the supervisors over at Fox on Fox Sports. The message really is you got to learn it from the ground up. There's no easy way to do it.
If you want to learn more about SkillsUSA, it's really easy. You just log on to skillsusaca.org.
SkillsUSA has been guiding students' growth to more productive and successful careers since 1965. Show your love at a carnival in Skid Row, indulge in a day of donut delicacies, and discover the best-kept secret in used book thrifting. All this and more in Things to Do. The Skid Row Carnival of Love is coming back to downtown Los Angeles. This free carnival event provides vital resources like health checks, haircuts, and ID cards, alongside music, entertainment, and balloons, all in one 20,000 square foot block party. Come down and show your love at the 6th annual Skid Row Carnival of Love, happening Saturday, January 25th, beginning at 10 a.m. For more information, check out their listing on Eventbrite. Love donuts? Who doesn't? So come check out LA's sweetest weekend bash at Donut Fest LA, brought to you by Indie Brewing Company. Enjoy a Sunday fun day filled with sampling donuts, enjoying beer, sipping coffee, and more. It's a tasty event for the whole family. Donut Fest LA kicks off Sunday, January 26th, beginning at 1 p.m. For more details, check out their listing on Eventbrite. Attention nonfiction aficionados, calling all book sale sleuths. Hey YA and urban fiction peeps, you are all invited to discover the best used book sale in East Hollywood. The Los Feliz Branch Library holds a huge used book sale made up of books from every genre. Children's books, art books, showbiz books. You never know what you'll find at the Los Feliz monthly used book sale, happening every fourth Saturday. The library is located on Hillhurst and Franklin Avenues in the heart of Los Feliz. For details, call 323-913-4710. And that's a look at some things to do. That's it for this edition. I'm Umaima Rashid. From all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.